This will be a different thing. Here, I will talk about acting tips. I will talk about acting nuggets. I will talk about the realization I have had while doing some performances. It can be by doing some exercises. It can be doing some methods. It can be doing some rituals or practices, or it can be a combination too, which has a relation to acting. But many people talk about why we are not seeing good acting. I think I have talked about it for a long time. What is the wrong thing in acting in the Indian context with the global context? Why this is so different? Many people are giving it a name of culture, but why in is it a set of culture or subset of culture, and how it is affecting the other types? Why should we have only one kind of acting? Why can't we have different types of acting? And we see a lot of lies regarding acting too, because people who learn acting from outside or from a good place, they are sometimes humiliated. They are sometimes you know told that their acting performances are bad, their acting processes are bad, even like worse, because acting performances can be wrong, and then you can improve the performances, but the acting processes, maybe you're doing it wrong, you can do it in a better way, but that doesn't mean the process itself is wrong. Maybe the practice is wrong, the way you are doing the process, or vice versa. But you get what I'm talking about. So here we will talk about acting. We will talk about different barriers in acting. Um, we'll talk about film. We'll talk about soap. We'll talk about theater, and how the acting performances are varying, and how you can learn from each and every performance or type of performance, and you can create something for the screen, for cinema, because these things people are dealing with in the Indian context. If I talk about mass entertainment, especially in the mass entertainment area, and if I talk about the artistic entertainment, many people are overly intellectual. They have to show their intellectual prowess. There is no intellectual prowess, otherwise they didn't have to show. But I mean, doing something, showing that they are intellectual, they are doing this and that, but the acting is not evoking something. You see that the emotions that are getting expressed, those emotions are not evoking something. So if you don't feel that, that means there is something wrong. So the biggest excuse, or one of the biggest excuses we see or we hear, is the cultural context. It comes from a different culture, so you cannot relate to it, but ultimately we all belong to humanity. Come on, what are you talking about? Right? So when these people come with those excuses, you counter question them, because ultimately we all belong to humanity, and we know that if somebody is coming from this culture, somebody is coming from that culture, we know there will be variations. We know that there will be different ways of speaking the language, maybe accents, maybe intonation, maybe modulation. There can be variations, but when we are looking at the performance, I'm not talking about the emotional truth. I'm not talking about the intentional falsification, or intentional how do I name it, like intentional over dramatization that you want to do in the name of culture. I'm not talking about that. If it is right, you will feel that it is right. That is what I'm talking about. So you might give different layerings of emotion, different colors of emotion, but when we see the performance, we can understand it is helping the narrative, it is helping the story, it is helping the other performances. So together we are getting a cohesive performance, or ensemble of performances. We are getting that. We are talking about that. So we will talk about those things here, right? And it won't be that rigid like in other places. We are talking about the crafts, we are talking about the art in more deeper way. Here we will just share things. We did this and we felt that. Now this is the acting performance. What do you think about that? I mean, the casual discussions, or in the style of conversations, but we are always thinking about acting, great cinema, great art, because we can learn from each and every art, and still we can utilize that in our acting performances. We will talk about those things, right? So let's begin this and let's see how it goes.